Tonight, you walk beside lions, but they do not roar. They listen as you dream of kings yet unborn. Tonight, you're not in your bedroom. You're standing in the silence of ancient Babylon. The moonlight touches stone walls, and shadows breathe quietly under the stars. Somewhere, deep within the palace, a prophet sleeps, and his soul has already left the room. You follow the sound of his breath, steady and calm, as the veil between worlds grows thin. This is no ordinary night. Tonight, dreams are not illusions. They are messages carved in flame, visions soaked in eternity. A river flows across his mind. Wings beat in the dark sky, and a voice, older than time, speaks without sound. These are the visions of Daniel, and you are here to witness them. Where are you listening from tonight? I read every comment, and if this kind of storytelling speaks to your heart, you're welcome to join us. Just tap subscribe before you drift off. You close your eyes, and the world you know dissolves. The ceiling fades. The walls of your room disappear, and in their place rises a wind ancient, dry, and full of memory. You stand now on the edge of an eternal sea, not of water, but of time. The city of Babylon is far behind you. The golden towers, the gates of Ishtar, the laughter of courtyards, they melt like shadows at sunrise. Tonight, you are not where you once were. You are beside Daniel, but not the Daniel of public wisdom or royal robes. This is Daniel the dreamer, the one the heavens trust with secrets too heavy for waking minds. He sleeps, but his soul has already stepped beyond the veil. It is the first year of Belshazzar's reign. The palace is drunk with wine and pride, but Daniel is still. His bed is hard. The air is warm. And yet, something stirs in the deep, pulling him into a place where time has no direction. You listen to his breath. It slows, deeper, heavier, and then, suddenly, the earth beneath you is gone. You are standing at the edge of a great sea, chaotic, wild, and alive. Its waves crash against one another, not out of rhythm, but as if in battle. Wind cuts the sky. Thunder rolls across a horizon that does not end. And from this roaring sea, something begins to rise. The first beast, a lion majestic and terrifying. Its muscles ripple under golden fur, but then you see it has winged seagull's wings, strong, wide, pulsing with an unnatural strength. They beat once, twice, and then are torn away. The lion falls, but does not die. Instead, it rises again, but now on 2 feet. It walks like a man, and a human heart is given to it. Not one of flesh, but one of rule, of thought, of judgment. You glance at Daniel. His face remains calm, but his hands are clenched. He sees what you see, and the sea is not done. From the depths, the second beast emerges. It is a bear huge, slouched to one side, its fur thick with the stench of blood. Between its teeth, 3 ribs hang, like trophies of battles long forgotten. Its eyes are hollow, but its hunger is not. A voice low, thunderous, invisible commands. Arise, devour much flesh. The bear obeys. You step back, but the vision pulls you in further. Now the third beast rises, a leopard, swift and sleek. But this is no natural creature. It has 4 wings upon its back, and 4 heads that move in silent, perfect unity. It glides across the sea's surface like wind over silk. and dominion is given to it, bestowed, not seized. Daniel breathes sharply. He knows what this means, and so do you, though no words have been spoken. But then, the sea groans deeper. The water parts like curtains torn in anger, and from the abyss comes the fourth beast. You freeze. Even the wind pauses. This one is not like the others. It has no name, no animal shape. It is terror, given form. Teeth of iron, claws of bronze, eyes like burning coals that see not only flesh, but fear. It does not walk. It crashes. It does not hunt. It devours. And as it moves, it crushes everything beneath it. On its head are 10 horns, sharp, proud, unyielding. But then a smaller horn appears. It grows quietly, but quickly overtakes 3 others. And from this horn, eyes open, and a mouth forms. And that mouth speaks arrogant words, words that rise against heaven, against the Most High. You feel the air tremble. Even Daniel stirs. His knuckles are white. His lips part, but he does not wake. The beasts do not vanish. The sea does not calm. You are still within the vision, still standing at the edge of something too vast for understanding. And the night is far from over. The beasts do not disappear. They linger in silence, as if waiting for something greater. Their mouths are shut now, but their presence fills the vision like thunder waiting behind clouds. You stand beside Daniel, and he trembles not in fear, but in awe, for something far beyond flesh and kingdom is about to descend. And then it happens. The sea fades. The beasts fall away like dust in wind. And before you, a throne appears. No, not just a throne. 1,000 thrones, stretching into eternity. A river of fire flows from beneath them, a current of judgment, pure and ancient. You raise your eyes, and there he sits, the Ancient of Days. His robe is white as snow, not the snow you've touched in the world of men, but the snow that lives in untouched places, in the breath of creation itself. His hair is like pure wool, soft yet burning, crowning him in ageless wisdom. His throne blazes with flames, its wheels of fire turning without smoke or sound. And around him, thousands upon thousands stand in silence. Not one speaks, not one moves. These are not soldiers. They are witnesses. And the court is now in session. Books are opened, not scrolls, not parchment, but something deeper. Books of memory. Books that remember what men forget. Books that have no ink, yet write in eternal light. And then, the voice, not loud, but final. A verdict is spoken. And you look, and the fourth beast is slain, its body consumed, its shadow erased, its mouth silenced. The other beasts remain, but their dominion is taken. They linger like memories with no future, like empires stripped of breath. But the vision is not over. You look again, and suddenly, one like a son of man comes with the clouds of heaven, not climbing, descending. He does not tremble. He does not bow. He approaches the Ancient of Days as one who belongs, and to him is given dominion and glory and a kingdom, one that shall not pass away, one that will not be destroyed. The fires grow brighter now, but they do not burn. The sky is full, but there is no storm. And you realize you are not watching a vision of power. You are witnessing the unveiling of eternity. Daniel lowers his head. You do the same, for you cannot look too long at what is holy, and yet you feel it, a peace so vast and weightless that it silences every question your soul has ever asked. The throne still burns, the books still remain open, and in that space between judgment and mercy, you hear the softest sound. Breath, the prophet stirs. His body lies still in Babylon, but his spirit has walked among the stars, and now the vision darkens, not with fear, but with completion. The beasts are gone, the sea is still, the fire flows on, and Daniel awakens, not with cries or screams, but with silence, a silence that speaks. You remain beside him. The air is warm once more. The candle flickers on the wall, but your heart is changed, because tonight you saw the throne. You heard the books open, and you felt the presence of the Ancient of Days. The throne is gone. The sea is quiet, and Babylon is once again around you. The sound of wind slips through the narrow window, the distant crackle of firewood, a soft breath. Daniel lies still, but within him storms rage without thunder. You remain beside him, and you feel it, a weight, not of fear, but of knowing. Knowing too much, too quickly, too deeply. Daniel's eyes open, but they do not see the room. They stare through it beyond the bricks and torches, into something only he understands. His lips do not move, but his spirit speaks in silence. You hear it, the echo of the beasts, the fire of the throne, the eyes of the Ancient One. Daniel rises slowly. He does not speak to servants. He does not write. He walks, out of the chamber, through the hall, past guards who lower their eyes, past courtiers who fall silent as he passes, into the gardens of the king, where only the stars dare listen. And there, beneath a fig tree heavy with moonlight, Daniel falls to his knees. He weeps, not from fear, but from the burden of having seen what others never will, from knowing that empires will fall, that kings will crumble, that beasts will rise, and the voice of heaven will not always be heard. His hands cover his face, the same hands that have touched scrolls, interpreted dreams, read the writing on the wall. Now they tremble. You sit beside him, and though your body is light, your heart is heavy. For now, you understand, prophecy is not power, it is weight, a gift wrapped in fire. Daniel begins to speak, not to you, but to God. His words are soft, but each one carries the weight of stone. Lord, what are these visions? What do they mean? Why show me beasts that devour? Why place me before a throne I cannot reach? And in the stillness, no answer comes, but Daniel waits, not for explanation, but for peace. A whisper moves through the leaves. The fig tree shifts, and though no voice speaks, Daniel's breath begins to steady. His tears dry upon his cheeks, and he looks toward the east, where the horizon still sleeps. You follow his gaze. There is nothing there yet, but there will be. One day, a sunrise, a kingdom, a son of man. He returns to his chamber. The palace resumes its songs, but he no longer hears them the same. He lies again upon the bed, not to sleep, but to remember. The vision is written upon his spirit, etched deeper than any scroll, spoken louder than any dream. And you, still at his side, feel the truth settle in your chest. The beasts were not myths. The fire was not imagined. The Ancient of Days was no symbol. And Daniel's sorrow is the sorrow of knowing the shape of what is to come, and loving the world anyway. You close your eyes again, but this time it is not to see. It is to rest beside a prophet who carried the weight of heaven in silence. And the silence, once heavy, now feels like comfort. The night has not ended. Even as Daniel walks through the palace in silence, a new vision waits behind his eyelids. A vision unlike the first, not of beasts from the sea, but of horns, kings, and the trampling of empires. You sit with him again, as sleep pulls him not into darkness, but into revelation. The walls vanish, the floor beneath you shifts, and now you are in a field, wide, open, still. The air is sharp, and the wind carries no sound but the pulse of something approaching. Daniel stands beside the Ulai River. The waters are calm, but in the distance, something stirs. A ram, powerful, majestic. It moves with purpose, its two horns, tall and strong, one higher than the other. The taller one grew last. You watch as it charges, westward, northward, southward. Nothing stands before it. No beast resists. No wall endures. It pushes, breaks, overcomes, and for a moment, it seems nothing will stop it. But then, a shadow. From the west comes another, a male goat, faster than the wind. It crosses the whole earth without touching the ground. Its feet are motionless, yet it moves, like fire racing across dry grass. Between its eyes is a single, prominent horn, and without pause, the goat confronts the ram. The clash is thunderous. The ground trembles beneath them. The goat strikes with fury, again and again. The ram stumbles, falls. No strength remains. It is trampled, crushed beneath the hooves of a new empire. The goat stands victorious, but the triumph is not eternal. Suddenly, the large horn breaks, and in its place, 4 smaller horns rise, reaching toward the 4 winds of heaven. But it does not end there. From one of these, a little horn grows, small at first, unnoticed, but then it grows exceedingly great. Toward the south, toward the east, toward the beautiful land, and with it comes desecration. It casts down stars, tramples holy things. It reaches even to the hosts of heaven, challenging not just men, but the divine itself. The daily sacrifices are stopped. Truth is thrown to the ground. The sanctuary is defiled. Daniel falls to his knees. You feel the weight of blasphemy in the air, like smoke that chokes but does not rise. Then, a voice, a holy one speaks, not to Daniel, but near him. How long shall the vision be? Concerning the sacrifice, the transgression, and the trampling of truth? Another voice replies, until 2,300 evenings and mornings. Then the sanctuary shall be cleansed. And then, silence. Daniel gasps. The vision fades. The river disappears. And you are once again in Babylon, but nothing feels the same. The candlelight feels distant. The palace walls feel thin. And time feels fragile. Daniel opens his eyes. He does not speak. He simply writes, not poetry, not prayer, but the truth. A record of beasts, of horns, of kingdoms to come, and the holy things that will suffer before being restored. You remain beside him, and you realize this vision was not meant for kings. It was meant for generations far beyond Babylon, perhaps even yours. The air is still. but your spirit is not. Daniel leans forward, his hands trembling slightly, his eyes fixed on the space where the vision vanished. And though the image is gone, its weight remains, etched into the silence, etched into his chest. You feel it too. Not fear, not confusion, but the ache of knowing something too sacred to carry alone. Then suddenly, the silence breaks. A voice, clear, commanding, not from the earth below, but from the heights above. Gabriel, the voice calls, make this man understand the vision. The very air trembles. Your body stiffens. You turn, and there he is. Not walking, descending. Gabriel, not with wings of flame or thunder, but with a presence that stills your breath. His eyes are not harsh, but they see too much. They pierce shadow, doubt, and soul. Daniel collapses to the ground. His face meets the floor. His strength fails. Even you, unseen, feel your knees weaken. Gabriel does not shout. He draws near, and his voice becomes as gentle as a stream in moonlight. Son of man, he says, understand that the vision refers to the time of the end. And with those words, Daniel is lifted, not by hands, but by presence. The garden, the palace, the world itself fades again. And now, they stand together within the echo of eternity. Gabriel speaks. The ram which you saw having 2 horns, these are the kings of Media and Persia, and the male goat is the kingdom of Greece. The large horn between its eyes is the first king. As for the broken horn and the 4 that stood up in its place, 4 kingdoms shall arise out of that nation, but not with its power. Daniel listens. You do too. The words are simple, but their meaning stretches across centuries. Gabriel continues, in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors have reached their fullness, a king shall arise, having fierce features, who understands dark sentences. His power shall be mighty, but not by his own. He shall destroy fearfully, and shall prosper and thrive. He shall destroy the mighty, and also the holy people. You feel Daniel's breath tighten. Gabriel's voice lowers, but grows heavier. Through his cunning, he shall cause deceit to prosper under his rule, and he shall exalt himself in his heart. He shall destroy many in their prosperity. He shall even rise against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken, without human means. And then the tone softens. The vision of the evenings and mornings which was told is true. Therefore seal up the vision, for it refers to many days in the future. The moment hangs like a candle before the wind. Then Gabriel is gone. No thunder, no farewell, just absence, and a memory too sharp to forget. Daniel remains on the ground. His eyes are open, but they do not see the room. You kneel beside him. He breathes, but he does not speak. Not for minutes, not for hours. And when finally he rises, he is changed. His face is pale. His limbs are weak. The prophet who stood before lions now shakes at the weight of truth. He eats no food. He speaks no word of the vision. He resumes the work of the king. But within him, a fire has begun. A fire of knowing. A fire of waiting. A fire that cannot be shared. And you, still at his side, understand why silence sometimes speaks louder than prophecy. Time has passed. Empires have shifted. Kings have come and gone. But Daniel remains faithful, quiet, watching. He has not spoken of the visions, not to princes, not to priests, not to friends, but within him. A cry has grown. It is not the cry of confusion. It is the cry of burden. You find him now in the solitude of prayer, not in the palace, but in a room with windows open toward Jerusalem. The air is dry, the light is soft, and the scroll of Jeremiah lies unrolled before him. He has read the words about 70 years of desolation, about a promise, a return. And now, Daniel lifts his eyes to the heavens. His knees rest on the stone. His hands are folded, but his soul is open wide. You kneel beside him and listen, O Lord, the great and awesome God, who keeps his covenant and mercy with those who love him and keep his commandments. His voice is steady, but his heart is trembling. We have sinned and committed iniquity. We have done wickedly and rebelled, even by departing from your precepts and your judgments. Daniel is not pleading for himself. He is pleading for a people, a scattered nation, a broken city, a name once holy, now mocked among nations. To us belongs shame of face, he says, to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, because we have sinned against you. No excuses, no masks, just truth. You feel the sincerity in every word. It is not the language of politics. It is the language of repentance. The Lord our God is righteous in all the works which he does, though we have not obeyed his voice. There is no anger in him, only longing. And now, O Lord our God, who brought your people out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, we have sinned. We have done wickedly. His voice begins to crack. His body leans forward, forehead touching the stone. O Lord, according to all your righteousness, I pray, let your anger and your fury be turned away from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain. You hear the desperation now, but also the hope. For we do not present our supplications before you because of our righteous deeds, but because of your great mercies. You feel a shift in the air. The room is still, but something is drawing near. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, listen and act. Do not delay. For your own sake, my God, for your city and your people are called by your name. And then, silence. The words hang in the air like incense that refuses to fade. Daniel does not open his eyes. He waits, not for reward, but for mercy. You remain beside him, and you feel it. The humility that moves heaven, the prayer that opens unseen doors. This is no ordinary moment. This is the moment where man meets God, not with power, but with surrender, and the heavens are listening. The room is still. Daniel remains bowed. His forehead touches the stone. His breath is slow, but within him, his soul is burning. He has not asked for visions, only for mercy. But the heavens have heard more than his words. Suddenly, the air thickens. The light in the chamber shifts, not with brightness, but with presence. You feel it first, like the sound of wind before it touches the skin, like the pulse of thunder before it speaks. And then he appears, Gabriel, not with trumpets, not with fire, but with a calmness that silences time. Daniel lifts his head. His eyes widen. But there is no fear, only awe. The angel draws near, and his voice enters the room like a melody wrapped in certainty. "O Daniel," he says, "I have now come forth to give you skill to understand." The prophet listens. His heart steadies. The presence of Gabriel does not weigh down. It lifts. "At the beginning of your supplications," he continues, "the command went out, and I have come to tell you, for you are greatly beloved." You watch Daniel's face. He does not weep. He receives. The word beloved echoes in his chest, and in yours. The angel speaks again. But now his words shift. They stretch. They unfold. And prophecy begins. 70 weeks are determined. For your people and for your holy city. You lean in. Every word feels like the ticking of a clock that has not yet begun. To finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness. The voice does not rise. It flows, as if each phrase is part of a river long hidden beneath the earth, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Daniel's eyes remain fixed. The meaning runs deeper than language. Gabriel continues, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The numbers do not confuse. They call, they point, the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. Then a hush, and after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. Your chest tightens. The words carry sorrow and destiny. Gabriel does not pause, and the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end of it shall be with a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. And then, the final line. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation, which is determined, is poured out on the desolate. The room is quiet. The voice ceases. But the meaning does not fade. Gabriel looks upon Daniel, then upon you, and in that glance, you feel the weight of centuries, of blood, of promise, of a savior. Then, without word, he is gone. But what he has left behind remains. Daniel closes his eyes. He presses his hand over his heart. He does not speak. He does not write. He prays, not for understanding, but for the strength to wait. You remain by his side. And you know, this prophecy is not just for Jerusalem, not just for Babylon, not just for Daniel. It is a seed, planted in time, watered by patience, waiting for a cross and a crown. The river flows again, but this is not the Ulai. This is the Tigris, broad, ancient, unshaken, and Daniel is no longer young. His hair is grayer, his voice softer, but his spirit still open. You find him now by the riverbank, fasting, mourning, waiting. 3 full weeks have passed. No meat, no wine, no perfume touched his skin. He has walked quietly among men, but lived face down before heaven. And now, as the 24th day of the first month dawns, something changes. You are beside him again, beneath trees that sway without sound. As wind brushes the waters without a ripple, Daniel lifts his eyes, and what he sees, you see too. A man, but not a man. He stands above the waters, clothed in linen, pure and flowing like morning light. Around his waist, a belt of gold, shining with the brilliance of fire refined sevenfold. His body is like beryl, glowing, alive. His face, like lightning, blinding yet beautiful. His eyes burn like torches. His arms and feet gleam like polished bronze. And his voice is like the sound of a multitude. Not one man speaking, but many, all in harmony, all in command. Daniel's companions flee. They see nothing, but they feel the presence, and terror drives them to the hills. Daniel remains, but strength leaves his body. His knees collapse, his hands tremble, his breath grows thin. He falls face down, his face pressed into the dust beside the Tigris. You kneel beside him, but even your presence feels too heavy in the holiness of this moment. Then, a hand touches him, not the voice of many, just one. Soft, reassuring. The man in linen speaks. Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. Daniel lifts his eyes, but barely. The figure continues. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. You hear the name, Michael, the protector, the warrior. The man continues, Now I have come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. Daniel bows again, silent. His lips move, but no sound escapes, and the one who stands above the waters touches his lips, gently, and strength returns. Do not be afraid. Peace be to you. Be strong, yes, be strong. Daniel breathes deeply. His hands stop shaking, and his eyes, though dim with age, burn with renewed fire. And now, the man speaks again, and what follows will shake kingdoms, pierce centuries, and carry the weight of heaven's calendar. But not yet, for in this moment, Daniel is not a prophet, not a ruler, not a dream interpreter. He is a listener, a servant. And you, beside him, are no longer an observer. You are part of the story. The water flows. The sky holds its breath. And the final vision is about to begin. The voice continues, but it is not the voice of a man. It is the echo of eternity, passing through lips made of fire and truth. Daniel listens. You listen. And the world fades beneath the weight of what is spoken. There is no strength left in me, Daniel whispers, his hand trembling against the earth. My breath is gone. But again, a hand touches him, gentle, lifting, not forcing him to stand, but allowing him to rise. The man in linen looks upon him with eyes like flame. And then he speaks, not in mystery, but in clarity. Do you know why I have come to you? Daniel does not answer, but his silence is permission. The man speaks again. I must return to fight with the prince of Persia, and when I have gone forth, indeed the prince of Greece will come. You feel the heavens tense, for this is not about kings of earth. This is about powers that move unseen, rulers that dwell above thrones and crowns, wars fought not with blades, but with command and authority. Michael, the great prince, he fights beside this messenger. And now, Daniel is shown the scrolls of heaven, pages not written by ink, but by fire, words that dance like living things, prophecies not bound to parchment, but to time. He sees, not with eyes, but with spirit, kingdoms rising, falling, leaders lifted high, only to be humbled, men who boast, men who conquer, men who fall, and in the center, a figure, small, but cunning. He exalts himself above all gods. He speaks against the Most High. He honors no one but himself, and with intrigue, he gains dominion. He divides lands for gain. He makes covenants, only to break them. He defiles sanctuaries. He removes daily sacrifices. He sets up abominations in holy places. Daniel sees the people of God crushed, scattered, weary, but not broken. Some fall by sword, by flame, by captivity, by plunder, and yet they shine. For those who know their God stand strong. They resist. They understand. They do not bow to the beast. And the voice of the man continues. At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack, and the king of the north shall come like a whirlwind, with chariots, horsemen, and many ships. He shall enter countries, overwhelm them, and pass through. He shall stretch his hand against lands, and Egypt shall not escape. Gold and silver, precious things, they shall be his. But rumors from the east and north trouble him. He goes out with great fury, seeking to destroy. He shall plant his tents between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. And then he shall come to his end, with no one to help him. Silence. You and Daniel are still. The vision holds its breath, and the weight of history hangs in the air like a sword not yet drawn. But it is not over. There is more to see, more to feel, more to endure. The man in linen speaks one final time, but at that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. And you feel it, the shift, the trembling of the earth, the stirring of heaven. The war is not only among kings, it is among spirits, and it is coming. You remain beside Daniel. His eyes are closed, but he sees everything, and your heart waits with him. The night is long, but it is not dark, because in Daniel's vision, the light does not come from sun or flame, but from revelation. You remain beside him, as the final words of the man clothed in linen settle into the soul like seeds in sacred ground. And now, he speaks of what lies beyond all wars, beyond kings, beyond the beasts and the horns and the fires. He speaks of the end and the beginning. At that time, he says, Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. You feel the weight of those words, not just for Daniel, not just for Israel, but for the earth itself. And at that time, he pauses. Your people shall be delivered. Everyone who is found written in the book. You breathe in deeply. You feel the shift. Because this vision no longer speaks only of kingdoms and destruction, it speaks of hope, of something eternal, and many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. The words pierce silence like light through heavy clouds, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Daniel does not move. but his heart stirs, and yours does too. You see it, not with the eyes of the body, but of the soul, the grave's opening, the dust rising, the breath of God returning to dry bones. You see the just rising in garments of light. You see joy that no empire can steal. You see judgment that no army can escape. And then, those who are wise shall shine, like the brightness of the firmament. And those who turn many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. You feel warmth, not earthly, not fleeting, but celestial. You look toward Daniel, and he is no longer a prophet bent under the weight of visions. He is a witness of the resurrection, of the promise, of a justice that does not forget. But the vision begins to dim, and the man clothed in linen speaks once more. But you, Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Then he lifts his hands toward heaven, and swears by him who lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half a time, and when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. Daniel speaks. He dares to ask, "What shall be the end of these things?" The man replies, "Go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." You feel the moment closing, but not with finality, with mystery, with invitation. Many shall be purified, made white and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Then the man is gone, the vision fades, the river is still, the stars above return to their quiet watch. Daniel sits in silence, and you sit with him. The air is the same, but everything has changed, because now you have seen the end, and you have seen the resurrection. And you know, those who sleep shall rise, and those who shine will shine forever. The visions have ended. The beasts are silent, the rivers still, but Daniel remains seated, his eyes open, his heart full. You sit beside him in the quiet, and for the first time in many days, there is no thunder in the heavens, no voice, no messenger, only peace. But even in silence, a final word remains, one not shouted from mountains, but whispered through eternity. The man in linen has spoken his last vision, but before he departs, he leaves Daniel, and you, with something more precious than interpretation, purpose. He does not speak of more beasts, nor give more dates, nor lift the veil beyond its edge. He simply looks into Daniel's soul and says, "But you, go your way till the end." 4 words and a world of meaning. Go your way, not in fear, not in hiding, but in peace. Go your way, because your part is done, because you were faithful, because you did not turn your eyes when the fire rose, because you stood before kings, but knelt before God. Daniel does not speak, but you can feel the weight lift from his chest. He has carried the visions of empires. He has seen the Ancient of Days. He has heard the voice of angels, and now he is simply Daniel again, a servant, a son, a man at the end of a very long road. The voice continues, "For you shall rest." You feel those words settle like a soft blanket over his shoulders. Not death, but rest. The kind of rest only granted to those who have borne the heat of the day. And then, the final promise, "And will arise to your inheritance," at the end of the days. Not just a resurrection, an inheritance. Something prepared, something promised, something eternal. Daniel exhales. His shoulders drop, not in weakness, but in release. He does not ask for more time. He does not ask for one more vision. He does not even ask how long it will be. He trusts, and that trust becomes your peace too. Because if Daniel, the man of lions, of dreams, of empires, can rest, so can you. The sun begins to rise beyond the eastern wall of the city. The stones of Babylon grow warm. Birds stir in the trees. The city does not know what has passed in the quiet of this old man's heart, but heaven knows, and so do you. You stand with Daniel one last time. He lifts his eyes to the sky, the same sky that watched over Jerusalem, over Eden, over the beginning, and though he cannot see it yet, he knows the end will come, and with it, justice, resurrection, glory, and rest. The sun has set, Babylon sleeps, and Daniel, now old and weathered, sits alone by the soft light of a flickering lamp. You sit with him. He does not speak. He does not write. His scrolls are closed. The reed of ink rests untouched beside him. There are no more visions, no more horns, no more angels descending in brilliance, only silence, and it is enough. His eyes, though dim, are full of peace. He looks not toward the gates of the palace, nor the wealth that surrounds him, but toward the window where the stars begin to glow. It is a quiet night, but not empty, because this is the night when a prophet becomes a man again, a servant with no more messages to deliver, no more mysteries to solve, no more kings to answer to, and still he remains faithful. He folds his hands, not to command, not to question, only to rest in the presence of the One who guided him through fire, through exile, through beasts and thrones. You listen to his breathing, slow, measured, present, and in this rhythm, you begin to hear something deeper. A lifetime lived in devotion, 1,000 moments of courage, a soul that bent but never broke. Daniel remembers, not with pride, but with awe. He remembers the food he would not eat, the idols he would not bow to, the lions whose mouths remained shut, the dreams he interpreted, not because he was wise, but because God was near. He remembers the kings who came and went, the empires that rose and fell, the golden image in the plain, the fiery furnace that was not the end. He remembers the scroll of Jeremiah, the promise of return, the 70 years counted in prayer, the voice that called him greatly beloved. And he remembers the face like lightning, the eyes like fire, the voice like 1,000 rivers. He has not forgotten, and yet does not cling, because Daniel knows his story was never his. It was the Lord's, and now that story comes to its closing chapter. He lies down, not with fear, but with fullness. The room darkens, but his soul is light. You sit beside him still, not as a witness to visions, but as a friend to peace. The city is silent. Even the stars seem to hold their breath. And in the quiet, you feel it. A presence, soft, holy, unseen, but unmistakable. Daniel exhales. One more breath, one more surrender. No angel speaks, no fire falls, no throne descends, only the warmth of a God who never left him, and now welcomes him. You remain seated, not with sorrow, but with stillness, because the end is not an ending. It is a return. The prophet rests. The servant is at peace. The dreamer awakes, not in Babylon, but in the arms of eternity. And you are still here, listening, breathing, carrying the silence of heaven in your chest. And somewhere, beneath the stars of a forgotten empire, a soul who saw beyond time is finally home. Time did not end with Daniel. The scrolls were sealed, but the wind of prophecy kept moving. Quiet, but never gone. You walk now where he once walked. Not in Babylon, not in Persia, but in memory, in spirit. The path he traced was not for a throne, nor for fame, but for obedience, and that obedience spoke louder than empires. You remember his silence before lions, his fasting when no one watched, his boldness before kings, his tears in secret places. You remember the weight of visions, the beasts from the sea, the fire beneath the thrones, the voice that split the sky with meaning. Daniel saw it all, and Yev never turned bitter. He never turned proud. He waited when heaven was quiet, waited when the exile grew long, waited even when his knees ached and his voice trembled, because he knew the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and his word never returns empty. Now you carry his story, not as a scholar, not as a scribe, but as a listener, one who stands still beneath the stars and lets the silence speak, because some truths are not shouted, they are whispered in the dark. You look back, and you do not see a man of stone. You see a man of prayer, of vision, of surrender. You see a man who walked with angels, but never ceased to bow. And now, his dreams rest in the soil, but his words live in you. You are the reader, the hearer, the soul still awake in the night. The stories Daniel saw were not caged in his lifetime. They pulse through centuries, through kingdoms, through the breath of every watcher who longs for light. Because Daniel's dreams were never just his. They were seeds, planted in silence, to bloom at the end of days. And perhaps those days are closer than they seem. So tonight, you do not return to your bed the same. You return carrying something unseen, the whisper of beasts, the rhythm of wings, the tremble of thrones, the promise of resurrection, and the call to live as Daniel did, not perfectly, but faithfully, even in exile, even in waiting, even in silence, because one day, as written in fire and sealed by the voice of heaven, you too shall rise to your inheritance at the end of the days. And on that day, you will understand all the visions, all the wars, all the tears, and you will see, as Daniel saw, the Ancient of Days, seated, waiting, welcoming you home. May the Lord who closed the mouths of lions also silence every fear in your soul. May the Ancient of Days, enthroned in flame and mercy, watch over your dreams tonight, as he watched over his servant in exile. May your spirit be still, even in the storm. May your faith be steady, even in the silence. And when the night grows long, may you remember, there are angels walking beside you, even when unseen. Rest now, like Daniel rested, not because the world is quiet, but because your heart is. You are known. You are beloved. You are written in the book, until morning comes, and you rise renewed.